Hi, how are you? Today's topic is broker contract. So we will discuss how you can configure broker contract in Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation, and then we will go for the demonstration. Just a little bit more about broker contracts. Broker contract is basically a function in Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation. It's also, I think, there in X2012 as well. The core function or the core purpose of this function is to bring to book commission on your sales orders. Like if a sales is brought up by some agent and you want to book his or her commission, what you need to do is you need to create a sales order, and then system will, you will pick packet and post an invoice that will automatically book a commission for that specific broker, which will be treated as a vendor. That's why this module or this function is available in accounts payable module. So you don't have to just book the commission separately and need to see how much sales that person has brought. System will do this automatically. As soon as we establish a broker contract, system will have the facility that when a sales order is created and there is a commission configured for it, system will book the commission, show it on the sales and marketing module, and then it will also book a claim against it, and then you do have the power to approve or reject the claim, and that will then, once you approve it, that will then create a vendor invoice. So it's quite automated, which is very nice. So we will discuss about it. So how do we configure this, right? So the first thing is we will create a charge code. I will talk about that. I think most of us already know how to create a charge code. There is just one small thing which is deemed necessary to mention in there. So I will show you that setup, and then we will see how accounts payable setup. How can we use, sorry, how can we configure those functions or those parameters for broker commission. And then the third thing is, I think that's not necessary, but yes, you can enable thing called price detail form from accounts receivable module, and then it will be available in that screen as well. Although Dynamics has a separate screen for broker commission, but if you do this thing, it will show you in the price detail form as well. Okay, so let's jump into the system, and we will first create a charge code. We'll click here in the burger menu, then account receivable, then charge setup, and then click to charge code. So for the sake of demonstration, I've already created the commission, but yeah, you know how to create a new charge code. So the most important thing is whenever you select the ledger account type, you make sure the posting is broker free. Okay. You can also make this one as ledger account as well. That's not a problem. Just make sure that the posting is broker free. Okay. So when that is done, then just close this and go to accounts payable parameters. So if I go to accounts payable here and then click accounts payable parameter, click on broker and royalty. We are only talking about brokers, so we don't need to care about loyalties here. So define a journal. If there is a difference between approve amount and the claim amount, then what system should do is it should ask you about entry or a journal. So system will need to park that amount somewhere. That's why you have to identify or select a journal. For the sake of demonstration, I've just selected journal here. This journal will only be used if the debit side and the credit side of the charge is ledger account. So system will then use journal to post this as an expense like commission payable or temporary account credit, let's say, and commission expense debit. Okay. So that's the difference between this journal and this journal. You can have a different journal or you can use the same journal. That's up to you. Now, the main important thing is you have to have some procurement category define, and you have to have some GL code, selected for that procurement category. So I'm gonna show you that as well. This button means if you are using, let's say, workflow on vendor invoice. So that means invoice will not be posted until the workflow is submitted. So therefore, you might need to toggle this yes if you have a workflow on the vendor invoices. When I say vendor invoices, that is the purchase invoices. I'm not talking about invoice journal. This doesn't create invoice journal. It creates vendor invoices. And if you do not have any workflow and your vendor invoices can be posted automatically, just toggle this to no. Again, if the workflow is not there, you don't want the vendor invoice workflow, but still you want to post it manually, you can toggle it to yes as well. In my case, I just want to the to I don't want any workflows. I don't want any manual posting. I just want the invoice to be posted automatically. Okay, so I will toggle this to no. So let's go to the procurement category, posting screen. Okay, type posting here in the search screen and then click this one or this one, doesn't matter. Let's click this one. Okay, then click on purchase order and make sure that the purchase expenditure for expense is defined for that specific category. Okay, that's the only thing you need to make sure. Once that is done, our accounts parameters are set up, and now we will go and start creating broker contracts. You can also enable, as I said, the price detail thing. So you can go to the bargain menu, click on accounts receivable module, click on parameters, and go to the price section and ensure this is toggled to yes. Okay, this guy should be toggled to yes. So we are now ready to create broker contract. So we will go to accounts payable module and then broker and royalties. We will go to broker contract. So you will see different statuses here. So what approved means is that is the only applicable broker contract which is available at this time, and this percentage will be applied. Cancel means now this guy doesn't work, so there's no commission for this person, so it's cancel. Close means it's just closed. Finish planning means I am working on it, but we haven't published it or haven't made it ready. So this one, if it's still in planning status, that means it won't be applicable to any sales order until it is in status called approved. So it's just a status change. There is no workflow available on this one. Yeah, so don't get too excited that there is any workflow available. It's just changing of statuses from here. So you click new. You can click new. It will be automatically in planning status. Give it a name. Then description, whatever you want to give. Connect it to the vendor. That's a contract ID, and that's the vendor contract. Okay, vendor account. So I'm mapping my contract ID with the vendor account. Select something. You can define start date and end date as well. It's up to you. If it doesn't expire, just give it a 2025 date or something. Select your charge code, which is this one, and define how would you would like to charge it. If it's percentage based, put it at percentage based. 40% is too much. Let's say 9%, and the currency of the charge will come automatically. And then you can add a line. Now this defines that do you want this to be on a specific item? Simple dynamic setups. Do you want this to be on item group level? You can do that as well. And then do you want it for all? In my case, I'm going to select all. Then you can do the same thing for the customer as well. Do you want it for customer groups specific? Do you want this for a specific customer, or do you want this for all of the customers? Okay. You can also have quantity breaks and amount breaks if you want. So if you desire, you can define those breaks here, and then this is getting copied from there as well. Okay. So my one is this one. For the demo purpose, I've created one, so we will use this one. This is just for you to understand, and once you are ready, you need to make it approved. Okay, that's it. So my broker contract is configured. Now all I need to do is now create a sales order, and that will create a broker claim for me. Okay. Okay, so you have seen how did we configure the broker contract. So this part is done. What we will do is now is we will create a sales order and invoice it, and then this will create a broker claim. So we will then go and review the broker claim, and then we will approve the broker claim to create an invoice. We will also see if we can do partial broker claims. So let's jump into the system now. Okay, so let's create a sales order, account receivable, sales order. Select the customer and press OK. Okay, we will select the lines. Oh, I have deselected the item because the quantity was not available, so I just selected this guy, and I'm gonna say 5 items, 5 pieces, and I'm gonna define unusual price and press save. So technically the broker commission should be calculated. Broker commission is based on lines, not header, so it should be there now. So all you need to do is click on sales order lines, please, and scroll down and see the broker commission here. You can click that, and it is showing me 10% of this thing. It's calculating that. Okay, so now I will, invoice it. I can do the pick pack as well and invoice. It doesn't matter, but system will only post the broker claim once the sales order is invoiced. Okay, so invoice is the important status for us. So if I go here in invoice and click invoice, check my details, all good, and post. Okay, so it's now invoiced. Now I will go to my broker claim form. So click here. I've already made it as a favorite and recent, but if you want to know where it is, accounts payable, broker and loyalty, and broker claims. There are many claims, but what I have done is I have filtered it with respect to my customer. So these are the two claims. This one I've already paid through. That's why it say qualify for 3,000 and approve 3,000. So there's no difference. So what I need to do is I think it's better I mark it as closed, so it will go off from my open screen. Okay, so it's gone from here. Let's filter it again. Okay, so what we can do is we can now select mark here, and we would like to pay for this vendor, so we want to approve it. So you will see out of the box, by default it brings the total value, but if you want to approve less value, you can do it as well, like you just change it to 500, whatever you are approving, but it will then create a difference amount as well. Okay, so we are approving 2,500, and then all I need to do is press this button called approve. This will post the vendor invoice for me. There will be no expense journal posted because my configuration of the charge is that I am charging it to that customer the commission thing. If there's a debit and credit separately, as I mentioned before, configured for the charge code, a separate debit and a separate credit, then it will post in the expense journal. Okay, and also the invoice as well. So let's approve it. Invoice date. You can see the invoice is created now, and this invoice has a separate number sequence because in Dynamics accounts payable module number sequence you can have the privilege to define a different number sequence for the invoices coming through broker claims. Okay, so now let's go and check my invoice. So if I go to my open invoices from accounts payable module and then click on open invoices, you can see that my invoice is posted here, which we did today, and you can see the voucher as well if you want. So voucher is not here because the subledger transaction is going to take a little time, but the voucher will be here. Okay, so let's do a partial one as well to see how the system reacts once you post a partial claim. So what I have done is I quickly created a sales order which gives me a broker commission calculation for of 1200. So this guys qualify for 1200 commission, but let me only approve let's say 200. So we'll go here and say 200 and click approve. So you can see system automatically created an invoice and also give me a qualified amount was 1200. I have approved only 200, so difference is left with $1,000. So where did this $1,000 go? So we need to then press a button called close. It will then ask you about the reason code. Where do you want to? What is the reason why this was posting, or what was the reason there was a discrepancy in it? So we need to configure those reason code. So in order to do that, we will go back to accounts payable module and click on different reasons. Two things you need to define, the reason code and GL code. Okay, let's say I will create a new and say damage, or let's say lost in sale, lost in sales, and then define a GL code, whatever GL code you want, and press save. Okay, now I will go back to my broker claim screen and search. Okay, so I will then press edit, mark it, and press close. I will then select my reason code. I say lost in sales, something happened, and then press OK. This has created a journal here saying that the difference amount is posted in that GL account using that journal number. Okay, you can see that. You can also search for close, the close ones claims. You can just do that filter here. You can also search by claims using the broker vendor ID. Okay, so you can see that the new invoice was only created for $200. That means the vendor will be paid for only $200, and the $1,000 has been posted into my expense journal or a GL code I wanted to place it. Okay, so I guess so we are done with this demonstration, and yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any queries, please email me on this email ID, and please don't forget to subscribe and like my channel. Thank you very much for your time. Cheers.